2 years ago, just when COVID was coming to an end, a friend called me and said, could you please come down to a little church in Crescent Beach and help us fundraise? I said, well, what kind of a church is it? It's an Anglican church. Well, I'm not Anglican. I'm not interested in Anglican. My mother would roll over in her grave if she thought I was going to an Anglican church. But you know what? I really like you. I'll go down for you, for my friend's sake. So I went down there and I met Peter Klenner. And Peter Klenner is just a charming, very nice person. And said, you know, we do need help. We bought this little old church before COVID. We borrowed money, $2.5 million to buy it. We want to keep this church, but we have to raise $2.5 million in the next year. If we don't raise $2.5 million in the next year, this church is going to go. It's going to be gone. So I said, okay, I'll think about helping you, but before I do that, I want to come to one of your services. After all, this is Anglican, and I'm not an Anglican. So I went to the church on Sunday morning, and I loved it. It was so biblical. The worship was just amazing. The people were so friendly. There was between 50 and 70 people there. The sermon was wonderful. The songs are all the praise and worship songs that this can't be Anglican. It doesn't feel Anglican. It feels like my old church where I used to go. My church was still closed. So anyhow, I said, okay, I like this church. I'm going to help. So for a whole year, I helped along with all the other people trying to get money. The effort was humongous. The church was open on every night from July the 1st, 2003 to December 31st, 2003 for prayer. Prayer specifically to pray for the money. We needed $2.5 million. I went and saw a couple of billionaires and all the contacts that I had. And people were friendly and they said, congratulations, it's a worthy cause, it's wonderful, we really feel for the church, it's a lovely little church, you should be able to keep it. And yeah, it's really good, but no, I'm sorry, our money is already committed somewhere else. So January 1st, no money. So Pastor Klenner gets up in the church and he says, we don't have the money. By the way, they sent about 800 letters. We had so many meetings with so many people. Anyways, no money. So he said, I guess we're going to have to sell the church. No one's donated enough. We had like, I think, 400,000 or 500,000. That's not enough for $2.5 million. We had mortgages to pay. We had people to pay back. So anyhow, I was counting on a miracle. I was praying. And I thought, we've got to have a miracle. But January 1st came around and there's no miracle. I got a little mad. I got a little angry. I says, God, this is a praying church. These people are devout. They're Bible believing, out of the Bible believing people. They do not mince words when it comes out of the Bible. They don't change the Bible. They pray, they teach, they believe everything that's in the Bible. They've been praying every night. For 6 months. For 6 months, they've been praying in this church. For 2 hours, I was there. I prayed about at least twice a month. I was there praying with them, earnestly praying for the money. And it's January 1st and no money. I'm not very happy. But Mr. Klenner said, God answers prayers in different ways. We have to believe that God is answering our prayer, just not the way we want it. So we're waiting. We have to do a little bit of finesse there, trying to figure out what to do. What do we do next? Meeting with the elders, last ditch effort to see if we can get some money. Anyways, March, they decide this is the day the church is going to be sold. Sign goes up, our sign, because I'm a realtor, our sign goes up. So we have a member of our team, his name is Andrew Garisco, he's a Catholic. And he went, when we were raising money, he went to the Catholics, the Catholic family, and he said, we'd like to have some money for this church. And they said, well, we'd be happy to give you money if you turn it back into a Catholic church.
This is
But
the
we're
white
not-
church in going into Crescent Beach on the
Yeah.
left. Yeah, I saw that sign. I was like, why does it say All Saints on it? I've been curious. Okay, good.
So he says, we're not going to buy this, we're not going to help you with this church unless it's Catholic. Well, it's not going to go back to Catholic because the Archbishop sold it.
And the
Well,
Pope
why would it
gave
go
us-
back to Catholic again?
The Pope gave us permission to sell.
That was before, right? So they said, no, we're not helping. So Andrew went back to them. Now there's a sign on the lawn. So Andrew went back to them and he said, their name is Pennos. He went back to them and he said, you know, the church is for sale. You live in Crescent Beach, you're part of the Crescent Beach community. Do you want this church to be sold to a third party? A third party that we have no idea what they'll do here? It could be a high-rise, it could be a restaurant, it could be condominiums, it could be another church, it could be anything. Do you really want this to happen? You have a responsibility. You've got the money, you have a responsibility to keep this church in the community. You think about it. So they did. How much rent can you pay if we buy the church? Nothing. We have no money for rent. None. Okay, they thought about it a little more. A week goes by and they call them back and they say, you know what? We're going to buy the church. We're going to use a foundation to buy it. We're going to let you have the church for 5, 10 years, maybe indefinitely, and you don't have to pay a penny rent. And you can use the church for whatever you want as if it was yours. The only thing is we have to fix the inside and be caretakers of the inside. Not a penny rent. We don't own the church, but we have the use of it for just as long as we want. Now that is a miracle.
Excellent.
It is a miracle.